Hello, everyone. My name is Joon-Ho Lee, professor at the Department of Communication and Media at Dongyi University. My co-author is Professor Hwang Sang-Hyun. He's at the Department of Advertising and PR at the same university. Yeah, let me move to main presentation hide screen. Let's go to this screen. The big title of our study is the effect of smartphone advertising types and trends. The contents or some list of the more specific part of the article include abstract and introduction and literature review that include 5 more specific parts, and the method and the results and conclusion. Yeah, then in this presentation, I'll show you the step-by-step content of the article. First of all, the abstract part. The abstract includes the whole overview of the article. And once you read this thing, then you may understand the most important part of the article. And let me show the specific things. The first thing of the abstract is the purpose of study. It is to analyze the relationship between 2 important elements of advertising sent to the smartphones. Also, more specifically, the study examined the effects of different smartphone advertising types on their cognition and attitude toward smartphone advertising, such as users' evaluation of advertiser and product, attitude toward advertising messages, and intention of purchase. Then the first element, important element, is the different smartphone advertising types, and the other thing is the cognition toward the advertising and attitude toward the advertising, and the intention to purchase. We want to explore and look at the relationship among these factors or variables. In order to show the result or to prove the relationship, then we used an experiment design. It was conducted using a sample of 280 college students. The following result and implications were found. First, text banner advertisements are more effective for positive and perceived change of the advertising. Second, immersion is most important factor. One of the most important factors to higher advertising preference in case of video, text banner, and QR promotion advertisements. And also, customized text banner advertisements is very effective. Also, third, the informativeness of the advertising perceived by audiences, more important factor for purchase intention in case of video and text banner advertisements. Also, customization and convenience is significant factors for purchase intention in QR promotion and video advertisement, respectively. Nevertheless, the further study needs to differentiate the economics nature of advertised products. The main purpose of study include these many things. The first is the online advertising revenue accounts for half of the total Korean domestic media advertising expenditures due to the rapid growth of mobile advertising revenue for recent several years. As the internet advertising expenditures is not much growing very recently. However, mobile advertising itself is expected to occupy over 50% of all advertising market soon. As the new trends modification regarding smartphone advertising strongly requires a new innovative paradigm of corporate communication behaviors and strategies. More systematic and exhaustive analysis about the consumer response to the diverse formats and messages of mobile advertising are needed. It is more important to empirically explore how people respond to different types of mobile advertising actually, and how they are effective in terms of intention to purchase advertised products and or services. To achieve the purpose, this study tried to analyze the effects of different types of mobile advertising and how consumer attitude toward the types of advertising improves intention to purchase. In turn, we also wanted to look at the main basis for analysis by make a review of the previous studies and the literature. Core theoretical basis describing and explaining the process of mobile advertising effects include the Davis technology acceptance model that examines how new technologies and new working tools are adopted and satisfied by their users. And FoCoS.IDIC attitude model is a very famous model or framework for analysis of web advertising effects. Davis model emphasized the new technology users perceived usefulness and easiness, while FoCoS.IDIC's model proposed informativeness, entertainment, and irritation as key factors influencing advertising values and purchase intention. These two models have been developed by several more factors added by subsequent replication studies testing the validity of the original models. The other remaining important variables to be considered will be credibility of the advertisement and personalization. In other words, customization. That means that the advertising content or strategies fit for the personal traits of consumers, or personal lifestyle, personal cognition, personal affection of the consumers or media users. Also, ubiquity. Ubiquity is a universal presence in beyond time and space. Also, efficiency, in other words, economy, and the preference and immersion. These are also not important, cognitive traits of the production advertisement, felt by consumers. The second part of the literature review contains the first thing is advertising types on mobile media became more diverse than previous mass media advertising. Very diverse in formats and strategies, functions, and content. It's very, more kinds or types of advertising is on mobile media. Mobile advertising types include the expression type, and they include text banner and audio video, and transmission type, push or pull, and the message type. It contains transaction, response, location, timing, and media mix. These are core elements of type differentiation of the mobile advertising. Or findings of prior studies include image advertisements were more effective in inducing consumers' favorable attitude than text advertising. The video text in the comparison of that and image, mostly. In the majority of studies, images are proved to be more effective in performing advertising behavior. Also, the consumers prefer the giveaway advertisements. Giveaway means promotion or some promotion or some compensation or some very strong and intentional marketing behavior or marketing mind is included in that advertising strategy. To product the advertisements, because they are exposed to advertisements in a low environment situation. In low environment situation, the more frequent situation than high environment situation. Yeah, in common sense. Also, a meta-analysis study showed that image or visual banner advertisements were more effective than text-alone banner advertisements. Even though the same banner advertisement, then the image or visual banner would be more effective as in the previous studies. Also, the interstitials or rollover time type were more effective than that of simple banner advertisement. Yeah, interstitials between two content in the flow of content, like the broadcasting and some other sequential process of showing, providing content or video content. Then in between two popular programs, the advertising must be there to attract more attention. In addition, QR code advertising became popular for a variety of marketing with its efficiency, targeting or on and offline linkage and measuring marketing results. The QR code is becoming more and more popular in marketing something. Also, the third part of the literature review contains many more things. To look at that briefly, advertising attitude is consumers' learned tendency of the orientation to consistently respond to advertising stimuli, favorably or unfavorably, when they expose to the advertisement. This is very core concept for in the process of generating advertising effects up until the final product, final advertising result, such as purchase intention. In the process, that the attitude is an inevitable element to be considered. Depending on the types of the perceived threats of the advertisements, consumers become to have a certain attitude to advertisements, product and brands in a variety of perception and attitude dimensions. Also, the attitude in turn affects the purchase intention. The more frequently analyzed elements of the perceived traits of the advertising and consumers' attitude on prior studies include information, credibility, customization, situation, convenience, economy, interest, it's fun or entertainment, and the experience, compensation, immersion, and interaction, and rejection, attention, and preference. There are so many important considering points or elements or variables. They which will generate or reduce the effect of advertising. Empirically, among 7 proposed attitude dimensions, they were reported to affect directly the satisfaction, and the others proved indirectly effective with the moderation of users' sex and age. These are all important, the point leading the consumers to have in their mind to have some willingness to buy the product advertised. Another relevant study showed that the perceived informativeness of mobile advertising had a positive impact on purchase intention. Among all other variables, one should be the inevitable to be contained in the advertising content. That is information of the product or services. In addition, a study on effects of immersion and intrusiveness of mobile advertising on the advertising acceptance showed the result that entertainment, economy, immersion, and intrusiveness are important considerable variable was explaining advertising attitude and further intention to interact with other consumers. So, based on the prior research or some theoretical basis and reviews, then we generate the central analytical framework like this, and this is the starting point for consideration as an independent variable. It's an advertising type. What is shape, and what is main purpose, and what is main content of advertising type. Also, we have to consider the perceived traits of advertising, it's actually perceived by audience or users or consumers. How consumers feel that the advertisement is useful, how it's customized to their situation, how it's convenient, how is it enjoyable, or something like that. How is it immersive? And these, the elements or factors or variables can affect advertising attitude or preference, and the further intention to purchase. This is our analytical model for this study. Following this, we have generated more specific research questions to be answered. First, the research question is, how does exposed to different types of mobile advertising affect perceived traits of mobile advertising and advertising attitude and effects? And types of mobile advertising, this is independent variable, and perceived trait of mobile advertising. And advertising attitude and effect. And this is dependent variable. We divide like this. And what the other research question is, what is the relationship between users' perception of mobile advertising and the relationship between users' perception of mobile advertising and advertising attitude and purchase intention. Yeah, this is independent variable. This is dependent variable. Yeah, based on this framework and research questions, we have real research afterward. The research method part explained how the experiments performed and how the experiment design is made based on what kind of subjects or the groups for experiment design. So a series of experiments were conducted in 2020 with 280 subjects and 3 different advertisement types of single product. Advertisement type, how advertisement type is divided: video, text, banner, and the QR promotion. We made 3 types of advertising for single product or single brand of the product. But in group 1, experimental group 1 is not exposed to any advertising content. This is called control group. The other is a treatment group. Treatment group actually watch it or are exposed to advertisements divided by 3 groups and 3 different types of messages. And male, female is allocated with the same proportions. 40 and 60. Also, we controlled their ages almost the same according to the group differences in order to control the extraneous variables. Each group of subjects were asked to answer 10 categories of questions after contacting advertising messages 2 times. We show them the advertising each time 2 times. However, we didn't show any messages to group 1. There were also 8 categories asked the perceived traits of the mobile advertisement. How they think, what do you think of this type of advertising? And we asked them 8 the questions, especially the 8 categories for the perception, in order to measure perception of the subjects in the 4 groups. And the other 2 categories ask the student preference for the advertisement and purchase intention. Also, we measure the 7-point semantic differential scales. The treatment consists of, as you see in the screen, video treatment or noodle product, and text banner treatment, and formatted on the smartphone, and QR and promotion treatment. At 3 types of advertisement, and each type contains 3 different messages, like this. They make it the original content, and also sometimes we edited the pre-existing content. The following table is the first result for this study, and this is the mean difference test with using the Duncan test technique. And it shows the mean difference scores according to the groups. Universally except this result. All the results show that text and the banner groups, the groups exposed to the text banner advertising groups has the biggest, normally biggest in scores compared to other groups, video groups, the QR promotion groups or control groups. Text banner in this case was very effective message content for the advertising. In noodle advertising, cheap noodle advertising, text banner advertising linked to other content and more specific content are more effective than any other advertising stimulus. Regardless of the perception dimensions, any dimensions except the irritation avoidance, video groups, the more likely to have more scores, higher scores for irritation avoidance. That means the subject or groups who was exposed to the video ad groups felt more higher irritation avoidance, and they really didn't like to watch that. And except that dimension, in other dimensions, text banner groups marked highest scores in average. Yeah, let's move to another result. And this result is also based on the multiple regression analysis, exploring the relationship between advertising attitude by group and purchase intention. In this case, first of all, customization is biggest significant variable for enhancing ad attitude preference. And also the customization is important for the QR promotion groups for purchase intention, improving purchase intention. And also, let me see the other important independent variables. Informativeness. The advertising containing abundant information is very important for in text banner groups for enhancing the preference, and also it's for very core important independent variable affecting the purchase intention. In this case. Also, the other big independent variables commonly important in video groups. The emergent is in video groups for the text banner groups and QR promotion groups. It's commonly explain the degree of preference. So it means that in video groups and text groups and QR promotion groups, the more the subjects or the college student focus on the advertising content, then they are more likely to prefer that advertising. However, the emergent is not the significant variable for deciding purchase intention. So let's move to the final section for this article, this presentation, and conclusion include that the study intending to find the empirical proof that advertisements on the smartphone in modern mobile advertising circumstances have significant effect on advertising attitude and purchase intention. According to the variables or perceptions or types of advertising, they in combination the impact on the advertising effect. Based on the experimental research performed in this study, the research generated the following results and implications. First, Text and banners advertisement is very, very important compared to other types of advertising, especially if they link to more specific content. It's more and more important and powerful predict of advertising effects. Secondly, immersive video, text banner, QR promotion advertisement. As I pointed out in the previous tables, immersive advertisements and customized text banner advertisements are very effective for increasing the advertising preference as an element of advertising attitude. Third, the findings that considered important is the informative video and text banner advertisements. Customized QR promotion advertisements and convenient video advertisements are effective for purchase intention. Yeah, as I told you that these are the main dependent variables. These combining elements is very important for deciding or predicting these two dependent variables. Finally, further research needs to differentiate energies depending on advertised products. In present case of the cheap food advertising, 오뚜기 noodle advertising, the non-independent variables are more likely to directly affect purchase intention than advertising attitude, according to the regression analysis. So it means that let's see again that these things direct the informativeness it's well known independent variable for advertising effect, very important for directly purchasing customers, the intention to purchase. Finally, I can add to this thing that cheap food advertising case, this result is acceptable, but however, how will the result if we replace cheap food advertising with other expensive or high involvement, high involvement, product advertising. In that case, maybe we speculated a different result compared to cheap food advertising. So this is the kind of the limitations for this empirical research. And next research need to explore these relations in case of other types of products. Okay, I went through all the results and all the elements of the research paper, and then very valuable and very useful ideas, and the results were generated from the research. and then it will be helpful for the advertising practitioner and for the following researchers. And yeah, let me finish this presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.